start to feel if at any point in your practice today, you start to have the mind wander, I invite you again to bring the thoughts back to those senses. Look around for beauty all around you in this moment. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? Can you taste the coffee from this morning? What does the texture of the carpet or floor feel like below you? Take another big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Next, inhale, bring your arms up, and then take your fingertips, your peace fingers, and start to massage down your neck, starting at the top of the neck, and just little circles rubbing down the neck. And working your way to the tops of the shoulders. One of my friends calls these the panic buttons. And so if we can help to relax these down away from the ears, it can help release some of that tension, that holding in neck and shoulders. Rocking the head from side to side a little, stretching out. And then coming back to center, roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. On your next inhale, circle sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, left hand comes down, right hand reaches up and over, and stretch the right side body. A lot of the times we start to roll the shoulder forward. Try to roll your right shoulder back and gaze underneath your right elbow. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, right hand down, left hand up and over, stretching and rolling that left shoulder back. Big breath into the left rib cage. And exhale out. Inhale, come back up. We're going to twist to the right. Left hand comes in front, right hand comes behind. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown, and then exhale, gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, arms go overhead. Exhale, twist to the left, right hand in front, left hand behind. Inhale for length. Exhale, twist belly, ribs, chest, and then gaze. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hands come down beside your hips. Take the soles of the feet onto the earth. And then we're going to do a seated figure four. So you can do this with or without the blankets if you are sitting on a prop. And we'll take our right ankle, cross it on top of the left thigh, flex the right foot a little bit, and then start to slide the left sole of the foot towards the body, just until we start to feel a stretch. Hands can come behind you, fingers point back, heart pushes forward towards the leg. Taking a deep breath in, slow breath out. Just start to notice where you feel this stretch in your own body. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can walk the left foot closer. You can push your heart a little further forward. You can even imagine that right knee pushing away from the body. And then slowly uncrossing the legs and windshield wipering from side to side. Come back to center, soles of the feet on the ground. We'll take the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Flex the left foot. You choose how deep of a stretch does your body want today. And so you can move it closer for a deeper stretch or a little bit further away to ease back. Again, tapping into what do you feel and what does your body need today. Uncrossing the feet when you're feeling balanced from side to side. Start to windshield wiper out the legs one more time. And then we'll start to swing the legs behind us, coming into a tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. If you're on hard tile like myself, bringing a little blanket underneath the knees can be nice to add a little cushion, protect the knee joints. Again, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, raise the tailbone, lower the belly, open the heart. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round through the mid back, tuck your chin. You're gonna keep going back and forth at your own pace. Inhaling, lengthening the front of the body. Exhale, lengthening the back of the body. Take one more cat-cow. And then come back to a neutral tabletop position. Slide the hands one handprint forward. The knees go to the width of the mat. And then a few hip circles as you inhale, rock forward. Exhale, circle back. It doesn't matter which direction you start. We'll reverse and go the opposite way. Next, exhale, start to switch directions. Notice the magic you hear. Do we hear any sounds? Do we notice if the stretch is a little bit more on the inner or outer thigh? What do we feel? After that last circle, you're going to come back to a tabletop position and then lower yourself down to your belly. If you have that blanket, move it off to the left side. Exhale, lower all the way down. And then bending into the left knee, we'll take that knee to a 90-degree-ish angle, soft flex of the foot, and then you can rest your forehead on top of your hands and just stack up your hands one on top of another. This is option one. You can add a little bit more height with the blocks or the blankets underneath your knee if you want to deepen this stretch. And then if you want to add on a little bit of shoulders, we'll start to bend left arm 90 degrees, point your fingertips up, palm down. Right arm 90 degrees and point your fingertips down, palm up. So I'll stand up and show you what this looks like. Looks a little bit like this, but lying on the ground. Stretch this left inner thigh. Left arm cactus up, right arm cactus down. Eyes can be closed or a soft gaze. Let's pause here for one more deep breath. And then if the arms are the cactus shape, go ahead and stack one on top of another. Slide the left leg back to meet the right. Pausing for a deep breath. And then we'll move our props to the other side, or if we have extra props, might already be waiting over there for us. Blankets, blocks can help deepen this stretch or protect your knee. You can also use the pillows as well. Either stacking your hands, one hand on top of the other, resting your forehead on top of your hands, or right arm cactus up, left arm cactus down. So that means your right palm is on the earth and the back of your left hand facing towards your right arm. Again, it looks a little bit like this. but lying down. If that feels too complicated or doesn't feel good on the shoulders, just stacking the hands one on top of another. Now that we've stretched the hips a little bit, we'll start to get a little bit more movement going on. So bringing the hands back to the stacked position, slide your right leg back, hands come underneath the shoulders, push your hips back, tuck the toes, and we're gonna come into down dog. So pointer finger going forward, rotate the hands just slightly out, tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. And start to pedal your feet one at a time, lowering each heel towards the earth. Totally okay if they don't touch. Honestly, for most bodies, that's not accessible because we have tight hammies, tight calves. And then once you've pedaled out, the feet start to bend deep into both knees. Feel the hips pull up and back, and then gaze towards your thighs or your belly button. Let the heels be heavy. Again, it doesn't need to touch the earth. Take a deep breath in. Try to put more weight in the heels than the hands. Next, inhale, deep bend into the knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep, deep bend. Melt the stomach onto the thighs. Let the head hang heavy. You can either keep the hands resting towards the earth or heel toe the feet out a little bit, grab onto opposite elbows, and sway from side to side. Releasing the hands. Take a deep inhale and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders roll up to the ears and down the back. Palms forward, eyes closed or a soft gaze. Ground down into your feet. Next, inhale, circle, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hip, forward fold. Plant the hands, send the left leg back, runner's lunge. From here, if you have blocks, this is a really nice place to bring blocks or anything underneath the hands. If you're like me and your arms aren't reaching the ground. Back heel looks like it's pushing off of a starting block, and then reach your crown of your head forward. Next, exhale, lower that back knee down. Again, you can slide the blanket underneath for a little support. And then inhale, arms come up. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Pinkies rotate slightly in, and then gaze in between the fingertips. Little trick for deepening this stretch on the front of the left hip. Tuck the tailbone just a little bit and see if that changes anything on the front of the hip. Next, exhale, send the hips back. Reach your hands down towards the earth or the blocks. I like to have them on the highest level. Straighten through the front leg. You're gonna come up as far as you need to start to get rid of that curve in the low back. So we might stay here. Start to hinge at the hip. And once you start to feel the low back curve, we kind of hit the edge, come back 10%, and then relax neck and shoulders. Right foot is flexed, toe coming towards us, heel pushing away from us. And this is one of the poses I will say, don't rush this one. Less is more here, because if we overstretch the back of our leg, it can be a really, really long time to heal that injury. So you really want to make sure we're not locking out the knee. Just going till we find that stretch. You can stay here, or if you want to stretch the outer right thigh, we're going to walk the blocks or our hands over to the right side of the mat. Let the outer edge of the right foot fall to the earth, and we're stretching that IT band, that outer thigh. Inhale, come back to center. Rock yourself back into that lunge. Hands frame the foot, step on the ball of the back foot. We're back into runner's lunge pose. From here, back heel rotates and comes down. Inhale, windmill the arms up, warrior two. The back foot, the outer edge of that back foot runs parallel to the back of your mat. Deep bend into the front knee, arms out to a T, and then gaze over your front middle finger. Notice if we have those panic buttons turned on, shoulders up to the ears, try to relax the shoulders down away. From here, reach your hand forward, right hand forward, and then exhale, lower your right forearm onto right thigh. Left fingertips go up to the sky. This is a nice place if you have blocks and you want to deepen the stretch. You can bring hand to the block or hand all the way down to the earth. My body is saying, no way. So I'm going to use that block to support me here and reach my hand overhead. From here, start to sweep your left arm along the horizon and then come bicep next to ear. So we want this long line from our left heel up the left leg, reaching out of the left fingertips. Next, inhale, belly button towards the spine. We're gonna pull ourselves back up to warrior two, and then right fingertips go all the way up. Left hand comes down the back leg or wraps around to the right hip. Peaceful warrior pose, and try not to lose that bend on the front knee. Stretching the right side body. Inhale, belly button to spine. Windmill the hands up, and then come down, frame the foot, step it back, plank pose. Your choice, you can do chaturanga, bottom of a push-up, or I like knees, chest, chin. And then inhaling into baby cobra, elbows come towards each other, heart pulls forward, or you can press your hands into the earth, coming into full cobra. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog, big exhale. And then your choice, you can hang out in down dog for a few breaths, or if you'd like a little breather, bringing the knees to the earth, hips back towards the heels for child's pose. Or if you're like me, you might need a drink of water. Notice if you're starting to feel a little warmer. Are we working up that fire in the body? And if we're in child's pose, start to make your way back to tabletop position. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. Left leg raises high to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Back foot steps forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands comes to shins or ankles. Reach the crown of your head forward, flat, low back. And then exhale, hinging forward, belly to thighs. Let the crown hang heavy. From here, plant the fingertips. We'll send the right leg back, runner's lunge. You can use blocks or props underneath the hands, or you can just reach your fingertips towards the earth. Imagine inner thigh muscles pulling in towards center, really strong runner's lunge here. And then exhale over that back knee down. Inhale, come up, arms overhead, shoulders relax down away from the ears. Pinkies rotate in and gaze between the fingertips. If you want to deepen the stretch, slight tuck of the tailbone. So we're just going to tuck our tail under, and that might deepen the stretch on the front of the hip. exhale, hips come back, straighten through the front leg, half split. Toes pull back towards you, heel pushes away. Soft little micro bend in the knee, or as much of a bend as we need, depending on how tight our hamstrings are. This left hip crease is going to try to pull forward. Try to pull it back, and then only folding as far as you can without rounding the low back. So we don't want to have the candy cane back. Nice flat low back, and that might mean staying up here. This is my injured leg, so like I always have to really make sure I don't try to go as far as I go on my right leg. So know that it can be really different from side to side. So just because we do something on one side doesn't mean we should do it on the other. If you want to try to do this walking on this side, feel it out. We'll take that outer edge of the left foot towards the earth. Walk our blocks or hands over to the left side of the mat, still keeping that nice little micro bend. This is a great one if you're a hiker. It's getting to the weather where we can do more of that. This is great if you are a cyclist, really getting in that outer thigh, or if you just, sit and work at a desk all day. This is a great one. Come back to the center. Rock yourself back into your runner's lunge. Hands from the foot, step onto the ball of the back foot. From here, we're going to rotate that back heel down to the earth, outer edge of the foot parallel with the mat, and then windmill our hands up, warrior two. Deep bend into the front knee, but front knee doesn't go past front ankle. And then also take a look at your knee. Mine always starts to fall in towards the big toe. Try to push it out a little bit more towards the pinky toe so we protect that knee joint. Arms come up to a T pose, palms point down, gaze over your front middle finger. And then one of my teachers always said, shoulders over hips, so we're not in the future and we're not in the past, we're in the present. So try to line that up as best we can. Inhale, now we're gonna start to reach forward, left forearm to the earth, right arm goes high up to the sky, and the hands are still part of the pose. So I almost want it to look like we're pressing that hand into a wall. So we're not just letting our hand hang out, we're gonna really active fingertips. You can bring the left hand down to the blocks, down to the earth if that's comfortable in your body. And then bring right arm along the horizon, bicep next to ear, pull right shoulder down, gaze underneath the right arm. And again, fingertips are part of the pose, so reaching out through the fingertips. Take a deep inhale, belly button to spine. We'll windmill the hands up, and then come left hand up to the sky. Right hand goes down the back leg or wraps around to the left hip. Again, keep that bend on the front knee if you can. Stretch through the left side body. Big inhale, expand the left ribs. Next, inhale, belly button to spine, windmill up. Hands windmill down, frame the foot. Step it back, plank pose. From here, bottom of a push-up. You can even add a few on if you like. I'm not gonna do that. But exhaling, you can join me, knees, chest, chin. And then inhale, up dog or cobra, baby cobra if you tend to get a little bit of that tension in the low back. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. Pedaling out the feet. And your choice, hang out in down dog for 5 breaths, or you can hang out in child's pose for 5 breaths, or whatever you like. And I'll never call down dog a rest pose. You guys are doing a great job. We just have one more standing part before we start to bring it all down to the mat. So if you're not in down dog, make your way back there. This time we'll raise right leg high to the sky, point through the toe. Exhale, step it through. Back foot steps forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Crown reaches forward, tail pokes up. Exhale, bend into the knees, melt the stomach onto the thighs. I see magic and beauty all around me. The more I look for it, the more I see. Check in with yourself and see if we're finding the beauty in our practice, or are we bringing some other things to the practice. Just taking care of your body and seeing what you need today. Next, inhale, roll all the way up. We're going to take a large step back with whichever foot's going to have you facing the camera, facing the screen. And we want heels in, toes out. And just start to bend into your knees and make sure your knees and toes are pointing the same direction. Here, we don't want to have our tail sticking out or our tail tucked under. We want to just be nice and neutral. So play around until we find your goddess pose. I always laugh because I don't ever feel much like a goddess in this pose. But I really, really love this flow that one of my teachers shared with us. So we're going to inhale, straight arms, straight legs, cross our hands behind our head, and then start to press your hands out to the side as you bend into your knees. So almost like you're pushing walls away from you. Inhale, straight legs, scoop up to the sky with the hands. And then exhale, bend into the knees and ground back down. We're going to keep repeating that flow over a few times. And so once you feel comfortable with the flow, feel free to go at your own pace. So we'll inhale, reach straight arms, straight legs, cross behind the back, exhale, bend your knees and press away from you. Inhale, scoop up to the sky, straight legs. Exhale, bend into the knees, and then hands float back down. Inhale, circle, sweep up, straight legs. Cross behind the back and press. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale, ground down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, press it away. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale, ground down. So anything that's been bothering you this week on this next exhale, just pressing it out, pressing it away. Inhale, scooping up some new energy up to the sky. And then exhale, ground it back down. This is a good one to get your energy kind of moving if it's felt stuck. And a great stretch on the hips. One more round. And then pausing here, you can do hands on the hips, hands on the thighs. Take one more deep breath in. And then straighten through your legs. Turn so that the feet are a little bit turned in, outer edges of the feet run parallel. I like to have a block or a prop out in front of me. And we want to hinge at the hips here. So we're again trying to avoid rounding in the low back. And just start to tip forward. Hands come down to your prop. And then a lot of the times I see students putting their weight all back in their heels. Start to bring the weight a little bit more forward so that your ankle keeps in line with your leg. And this is not about how far we can fold forward or walk our hands back between our legs or reach the ankles. It's about what we need to feel this stretch, to find our edge but not go past. So really play with this pose and find where it feels comfortable to pause for a few breaths. Keep the thighs lifting up, engaged, active to protect the knees. And on your next inhale, engage belly button to spine, hands to hips, start to hinge all the way up. And then we'll make it towards the front of our mat again. Feet about 2 fist width apart. And then we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands, step it back, plank pose. And then exhale, lower the knees. From here, I'm going to share pigeon pose, how I like to go into pigeon pose. If pigeon pose doesn't feel comfortable for you and your body, you can take that figure 4 shape we did, but resting on your back. And I'll get a lot of the same stretch. If you're doing pigeon pose, I recommend having a blanket or pillow nearby. Also a block or something else you can have out in front of you. Coming back into your tabletop position. Left knee to left wrist. Swing that left foot in front of your right knee and then tiptoe the right foot back. A lot of the times we're kind of hovering here or we're holding our hips up. So I like to bring a blanket underneath so I can really settle in and not have to hold myself up in this pose. Another cue I hear often is shin parallel to the front of the mat. That usually doesn't feel good for most people. And, even the most hypermobile, just because we can go there doesn't always mean we should. So find where it feels good for your front knee. And then once you settle in, feel where you feel this stretch while you're propped up. You can bring block under the hands if you want to help reach out of the low back. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk the hands forward and then rest your head on your blanket, your pillow, your block. Usually when I teach a class, I don't even have to say fold forward. Everybody's already done it before I even get there. We're getting to the slower part of class. The part of class where we let all of that hard work we did settle in. Start to bring a little bit more of the ease of practice. Letting gravity do most of the work here for us. And again, if this is not comfortable, you can take that figure 4, left ankle on top of right thigh, lay on your back, interlace the fingers, or just have one hand behind the back of the right thigh. Your practice, your choice. Checking in with the neck here. We're holding shoulders towards the ears. Try to lengthen the neck a little. Maybe even stretching the neck out side to side. And often if we have a lot of tight hips, we have tight jaws. And so something I like to do if I'm doing a lot of hip stretching is just open and close my jaw a few times. Sometimes even use my fingertips to circle and massage there. Kind of stretching both of those I find can help me stretch a little deeper into my hips, relax a little bit more into my jaw. They help each other out. On your next inhale, take your hands back onto the earth, lifting yourself back up. Tuck the back toes to lift the hips and slide the knees back to tabletop position. From here, you can take the left leg and start to circle out through the hip. Or if you'd like, tuck the toes, hips up and back, coming into down dog. And then you can raise the left leg, bend the knee, and start to circle out the hip. Whichever feels better for you, going both directions. And then come back to a tabletop pose. From here, right knee pulls to right wrist. Swing the right knee or right foot in front of the left thigh. Tiptoe the left leg back. Again, you might want that blanket or pillow underneath the right glute, outer right hip. If we feel dumping, crunching, kind of compression in the low back, take a block or a prop underneath the hands to help lift up. Notice where you feel the stretch in this raised position. And then as you start to fold forward, does the stretch shift somewhere else? If you're taking figure 4 on your back, right ankle on top of left thigh, flex the right foot, interlace the fingers around the back of the thigh. This is also a nice place if you do have a yoga strap or something like that. You can deepen the stretch by bringing that left knee towards the body, by imagining the right knee pushing away. Lots of options. And while we hold these longer poses, making sure we hold the pose, but not the breath. Or you don't even have to hold the pose if you want to get out of it, but just making sure we check in, that we're not clenching the jaw, holding the breath. We'll take a few more breaths on this right side. And any little wiggles or stretches of the neck before we exit this pose. If you need a little longer to feel even from side to side, by all means, stay as long as you like. And when you're ready, starting to take the hands back down to the earth, tucking the back toes, lifting the hips, and then starting to circle out through that right hip, however you like, tabletop position, or coming into three-legged dog, bending the knee, and starting to circle out. Eventually making your way back down to a tabletop position. Letting one hip come to the earth and swinging your legs out in front of you. Moving the flesh away from the sit bones so you can sit up really tall. If you start to round into the low back, this is again another great place to bring a little height underneath the seat. That can help prevent some of the rounding. If you're like me and you have any knee injury, I like to roll up another blanket and take it underneath the knees just to make sure I don't lock out my legs. Flex the feet so toes come back towards us, heels push away. Hands come pressing down into the earth beside you. Rise up through the crown. Crown reaches up, and then a lot of times I used to do it a lot. Reach my chin forward. Try to push the chin back into the drawer, back of the neck long. So we want a really long spine here. And then start to walk your hands out beside your legs, hinging at the hip, folding forward. Again, not that candy cane back. We want a nice flat low back. Hip creases pull back, heels push forward. And once we find that edge, we'll start to relax into neck and shoulders. Inhale, come out just 10%. Reach the crown long. Feel it, reach. And then exhale, fold back forward. We'll pause here for a few deep breaths. This is a nice pose if you're ever wanting to wind down before bed. It's usually at the end of a practice because it's a nice one before Shavasana to help calm and relax the body. And then gently coming back up. Soles of the feet come together as close or as far away as it feels good for your knees. So let your knees kind of be the judge of where you place your feet. Really press the soles of the feet into one another. Take your peace fingers and we'll grab our big toes. Roll the shoulder back. So if you have writing on your shirt, almost like you want to reach your heart out so I can read the writing the whole way down as you fold. And then once you find your edge, you can either keep holding onto these toe straps or walk your hands forward, almost looking like down dog, and then rest your head between your arms. Again, your practice, your choice. Continuing to press the soles into one another. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale, start to walk the hands back towards the body. Help the knees come back in towards center. If we have blanket underneath our seat, go ahead and move it off to the side. And fold them up and just have them off to the side in case you want them for a later pose. Make sure your seat's in the middle of your mat and then start to roll down onto your back. If you have a ponytail like me, move it off to the side a little bit so you can lay your head flat on the earth. And then the same way we pushed our chin back into the drawer, you're just going to take your peace fingers of your right hand and start to press your chin back towards the mat, to make the back of the neck really long. And then come back to neutral. And we're going to do that 3 more times, just pressing the chin in, making the back of the neck long. 2. And 1. Bring the fingertips of both hands to the back of the neck. Just give yourself a little bit more massage. Great job. And then we're going to do a little gentle twist. So we worked a lot through hamstrings and hips. Often if we have tight hips and hamstrings, we can have a little tension in the low back. So gentle twists on your back can be a nice way to really stretch through the low back and relieve some of that. Arms come out to a T position, palms up. Knees come up to a 90-degree angle. And then just start to let the knees fall to one side. If you want to bring your supports underneath the legs so that they don't go all the way down, or you can bring them all the way to the earth, whatever feels best. And then gaze the opposite direction or up towards the ceiling. If we gaze towards our right fingertips, it'll deepen the stretch a little bit, but only doing so if it feels comfortable for the neck. Big breath in. Full breath out. Next, inhale, start to pull the knees back towards center. And then exhale, opposite way. Knees fall to the right, gaze to the left or towards the ceiling. Making sure backs of both shoulders press down into the earth. Breathing in belly, ribs, heart. Exhaling heart, ribs, belly. Twists are a good time to release and let go. They help to clean the spine, can help aid in digestion. And they're just one of my favorite times to let go anything that's no longer serving me. Take one more deep breath here. Full exhale, making space for new breath, new energy. We'll inhale, come back to center. This is the point in class where I like to give you a moment to take any other pose you need to make your practice feel more complete. Maybe that's coming into happy baby, grabbing onto big toes or outer edges of the feet and rocking side to side. Maybe you just want to give your knees a big hug and rock, massaging the low back. Listen to what your body needs and then start to settle into your final pose when you're done. If you want a little added support for the neck, this is one of my favorite things to do, is roll up one of the blankets really, really tight. Leave enough so that you'll have a little pillow left over. And then when you come lie down, you place the roll just behind the neck and then extend the legs out, palms beside you. This can help really counteract some of that text neck or sitting at the desk, the office spot, as I call it. So this can help to unround or to restore that neck curve, keep you from rounding forward. If you tend to get cold during Shavasana, covering up. And once you've settled in, palms up, eyes closed or a soft gaze, heels heavy into the ground, relaxing your feet, legs, hips, low back, back of the heart, your arms, your throat, your neck, back of the head heavy. You'll continue resting here. I see magic and beauty all around me. The more I look for it, the more I see. Let yourself rest and feel the magic you created in your own body today. Listen to the beautiful sound of your inhales and exhales. No poses left to do, nowhere to be. Just relax and breathe. Begin to deepen your inhales and exhales. If there's nowhere you need to be immediately after class, I invite you to relax a little longer. Maybe journal or just take a little extra Shavasana. If you'd like to end class together, you can start to wake the body, wiggling fingers and toes. Stretching the arms overhead like that first stretch when we wake up in the morning. And rolling to one side, coming into fetal position, letting your head rest on your pillows, blankets, or arm. Taking a moment of gratitude for showing up to your practice today. A moment of gratitude for this free practice on this beautiful Saturday. A moment of gratitude for your friends and family. And take a moment to give gratitude to anything else that pops in your mind. When you're ready, begin to use the strength of your arms to push up to a comfortable seat. Hands come to me at heart center. Left pressing into right, right pressing into left at the center that heals all opposites. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. May we begin to find more balance, see more magic and more beauty on and off the mat. Namaste.
Namaste.
And thank you guys so much for showing up today. Again, my name is Lisa with Do Yoga with Lisa. I'm so excited to be able to do this with FitPHX. I think it's great that a city is providing this. I think it's great that sponsors like AARP are willing to make these free and accessible. I think everybody could use a little bit more yoga right now. I don't know about you. So thank you for taking this time. If you'd like to watch the practice again, it will be added onto the FitPHX link, which I have on my website. And Kat, I don't know if you have that handy, if you want to add that in there. Yes, thank you again, AARP. And if anybody has any special requests, I did a little extra neck and hips today. If we want back or shoulders, or if there's anything specific you want, I really would love to tailor the practice to what you guys need. So let me know in the comments and I can try to tailor the practice for you. And thank you again. Go out and share this practice in some way in the world. Go look for the beauty, share it with some other people. And thank you. I'll stick around if anybody has questions.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lisa.
Neck and shoulder tension. Okay. I got a lot for those. I'm a recovering handstand junkie, so I just feel like my shoulder, I got a lot of shoulder stuff that I can really help out with. A lot of shoulder and neck is super related. I don't know if the person who said that's still on, but a lot of times we have forward neck, where our neck is out in front of our shoulders. And so for every inch forward your ear is from your shoulders, it adds 10 pounds of pressure down the back of your neck. And so that can be really, really hard. It's like holding a bowling ball close to the body. And then if you held a bowling ball far away. So it can add a lot of pressure down here. So that's where I was doing those chin pushes, was to try to help us bring our neck back. And then the roll we did was to try to help the curve. So if you have any more questions too, if anybody wants to reach out on Instagram, I can send you some of my favorite little exercises for neck specifically as well. And I'll incorporate those next month on the October class. So thank you for that one. What else did we have?
I was
Okay,
gonna
awesome.
add, Lisa, just that they can also email me questions through email if that's easier, if they're not on Instagram, and I'll forward them on to you as well.
Okay, perfect. Yes, and she's awesome about like telling me all the stuff that if I miss anything in the chat. So thank you guys for that input. It really helps us shape the class for each of you. And yeah. Okay, it looks like neck and shoulders. Bye, everybody.